Usually when a child goes missing, the family is devastated, and they spend every waking moment searching. Every dime they make goes into the cause. They scream it from the rooftops, desperate for help. But that's not what happened for poor Zaela Walker. The beautiful 2-year-old girl was last seen August 22nd, 2018. Her parents didn't search. They didn't beg for help. No, they took a bizarre 4-month road trip. A concerned grandma called in a missing persons report on the 2-year-old and her parents. Police found the adults, but the child hadn't been seen in months. The mom accused the dad accused the mother. Both are now sitting in prison with murder charges, but no one knows what happened to Zaela Walker. You're watching Chasing Justice with award-winning crime writer Sonova Cantrell. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about cold cases, criminal conspiracies, corruption, and the dark psychology of criminal masterminds. I know you're going to enjoy the show, but before you do, please like, subscribe, and share. All of that BS really helps us defeat the algorithm monster. Hi guys, today we are talking about the disturbing disappearance of Zaela Walker. Now, Zaela was a 2-year-old girl from northern Las Vegas. She lived with her mother Lakeia and her maternal grandmother, although she did spend some time with her father on occasion. No one's quite for sure when she was last seen or who she was with at the time. We do know that her parents, instead of looking for her or calling the police or putting out search parties, they instead took a bizarre 4-month road trip, and when the police finally tracked them down, the daughter was nowhere to be found. On August 22, 2018, she was dropped off at her father's house while her mother went for a job interview. Now, this is where the story turns strange. He says that he sent her back home at a later time. She says that she went to his house and that he wouldn't give her the child back. Instead, he demanded $13,000, and she swore she would come up with the money even if she had to strip for it. I don't know what she thinks she has that's worth seeing for $13,000, but this is the first story that she told the police. He claims that he returned the child to the mother. She claims that he did not return the child. However, neither one of them followed through and called the police. You will find out that many stories come from these people, and yet none of them quite make sense. All we know for sure is it's been years. No one knows where Zaela is, and her parents had some extremely odd behavior after her disappearance. She also told the police that she camped out in front of Ricky's house and that he kept coming out and telling her that she needed to leave. She was causing a disturbance, but she couldn't possibly leave the driveway, so she slept in her car until Ricky came out a few days later and told her that the child wasn't there, that she was actually visiting his family in California. I call BS. How in the world did they get by this poor distraught mother living in their driveway? How did they sneak Zaela out of the house and get her all the way to California with this mother in the driveway? So again, this is just another random, strange story. This story has so many twists and turns and so many outrageous tales, and none of them make any sense. So that's the first story. The second story is the father gave the child back to the mother, and he has no idea. Okay, that might be plausible. Did this mother set all this up? Did something happen to the child, and now a vindictive mother is trying to get back at her ex? Well, that's actually somewhat plausible, but he does something very strange. If he was actually being manipulated and set up by this woman, he chose to go on a 4-month-long road trip through several states and even out of the country. So I have a hard time thinking that he's being manipulated in this whole situation. 4 months without seeing your child, 4 months without demanding answers, 4 months on the run is what it looks like to me. A concerned grandma finally calls the police and reports all 3 people missing. Police begin their investigation and find Lakeia's car is actually abandoned not too far from Ricky's house. Inside were her keys, her wallet, her cell phone, and It looked like she had just stepped out of the car and never returned. During this time, it's also noticed that Ricky has actually stolen his mother's car. It's not clear in the reports what time this was found out, if the mother actually called in a stolen car report or if it was just discovered in part of their investigation. But either way, Ricky's car that he's driving is reported stolen. So they are pulled over and questions about the stolen car. So they're found by the police in one state, and they simply tell the police, hey, it's a misunderstanding with my mom. I have the car. She didn't realize I was taking it. I will call. I'll get it sorted out. Whatever the answer is, they gave the police the right answers, and so that's exactly what happened. They let him go, and everything was going to be fine. I do not understand why the police didn't further investigate, but they took the word of these parents. They also said that no, this car isn't stolen. It's my mom's. There's just a misunderstanding. So the first time they are pulled over by police, they are actually let go. Now, they actually travel outside the country into Mexico and actually come back across the border. Now, this is when they're actually stopped for the last time. And this is when police are conned into this game of, hey, no, it's dad is the bad guy. He's the one that done everything. And the mother's the poor, pitiful victim. And she's being manipulated by this abusive man. And she was just following along because Ricky told her that if she did everything that he wanted, that she would get to see her daughter again. Well, that story might last for an hour, but that story doesn't really work after 4 months of a cross-country road trip. Ricky is arrested right away and put behind bars. They're holding him on kidnapping charges, holding him on stolen vehicle charges, child endangerment charges. But Lakeia, she gets away. She actually gets to go. And the police believe her. And she goes on podcasts and starts telling people, well, I just don't understand. If Ricky would just tell us where the baby is, he could get out of jail. What does it? I just don't understand why he's keeping this. Why he won't just tell us where she is. Playing the innocent card. Well, this lasts for a while, but by 2019, police are starting to get a clue. This woman knows something as well. She's not telling the truth. And after a failed polygraph test, they're beginning to question everything Lakeia says. So they go back through all of the odd theories, all of the things that she said she did because he manipulated her, and they find that they have no information on this child whatsoever. So after all of this investigation, they decide they're going to lock her up too. So as of 2019, both parents, Lakeia and Ricky, are behind bars on murder charges. Some things that Lakeia has said over the last few months led investigators to believe that they they're not looking for a missing person, they are looking for a body. Now, they haven't released exactly what that was, but things have been said that really make them think that she is no longer with us. Now, there is a recording online that Ricky had been going behind Lakeia's back and recording their conversations on his hidden cell phone. Now, one of these sound bites for this recording is actually Lakeia saying, if there's no body, there's no case. Now, outside of true crime genre, outside of investigations, there is really no legitimate reason to say that phrase. And obviously, she's not overly educated, or she would realize that there have been dozens of murder convictions handed down without bodies. But why would a mother say this? And so this is what I find so disturbing. He says she was manipulating him. She says he was manipulating her. But after all of this time, these two parents have been in prison since 2019. I'm recording this as of May 2025. All of this time, we have no more information on this poor child, and we still don't know the basics. Who was she with last? Who seen her last? Where was she last? What happened to her body? If she's still alive, where is she? Who has her? Well, the investigators have gone through and thoroughly talked to everyone. See, over the course of this time and over months, Ricky and Lakeia both have said, "Oh no, this person has her. Oh no, that person." Lakeia even said that Ricky's other baby mama had her at one point. The police have talked to all these people, and they all claim they have never had Zaela. So, where is this child? And more disturbingly, where along that road trip could she be? Was she handed off to strangers and she's still alive somewhere? Or was this something else happened? Now there's one theory that in itself doesn't necessarily hold weight either, because there's some strange discrepancies in this story. But it's like every other story in this case, there's nothing but strange discrepancies. Ricky lived with his mother, and Ricky's mother claims that just before all of this happened, that Zaela was spending the night, which really doesn't make sense if you consider the timeline that we've been given. But say it's true. Zaela was spending the night, and this grandmother heard a loud thump in the night, so she got up to see what was going on. She says that Ricky was carrying Zaela, crying, to the bathroom because she had peed her little mattress cot thing that she slept on. And he said, "I'm sorry for the noise." He had tossed it and it hit the wall, or kicked it and it hit the wall, something, and it made a loud thump. Now, so the theories are that this man actually got angry and threw Zaela against the wall. Well, if this is the case, where is her body? I'm not saying that it's impossible, but if it was the case, and you have Lakeia, which is not actually with Ricky, why would she cover for him? Why would she come over to the house the next day? He say, "Oh, hey, this accident happened and Zaela's gone," and then she spend 4 months on the run with him to cover it up. So see, that doesn't quite make sense either. And so then you'll find out that there's some search history on his computer that's talking about, does marijuana help with seizures? Well, if you find out what his job is, that can kind of go along with what he does for his job. He's kind of an aid for people that have all different kinds of health problems. And then at a certain point in the days leading up to her disappearance, he did buy a pre-roll. And so I'm thinking, okay, so now the internet's trying to say that he was looking up and got marijuana for his daughter to smoke. I mean, a pre-roll, you have to smoke. So I'm sitting here going, what? He taught his 2-year-old how to smoke marijuana? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But that's the theory that the internet's trying to go on. I contend it makes a little bit more sense like this. Lakeia went on a podcast and she had said, well, he was supposed to meet me at the park with the girls because he had his other daughter with him at the time, supposedly. What happens if they met at the park to exchange the child? The child gets injured at the park. Both of them freak out and they cover it up together. To me, that makes more sense than anything else. But whatever the case is, I believe both parents are just as culpable in this, whether it was an accident that turned into a death or if it was abuse. Whatever the case is, both parents know what's happened to this child. So where are we now? It's been 6 years, 7 years. And we are really no better off than when we started. We have 2 people behind bars because of their suspicious behavior. And we have a child that nobody knows what happened to. We don't know where she was. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know where she is now. And we have no new information. What's really sad about this is there is so little information about this case out there. Now, the little bit of information that we have has been spread around a little bit, but there's really not enough information to do anything with this case. And what's sad is these two parents have been behind bars since 2019 or early 2020. They've both been behind bars, and it's been 5 years and it's never gone to trial. Will Zaela ever get justice? Can they get justice without a body? Better yet, where is she? When all is said and done, I believe both parents know what happened to this child. I believe they're behind bars and they're keeping their mouths shut, not to protect each other or to even protect themselves. I believe that they are keeping their mouths shut because they truly believe that if you don't find a body, they won't be convicted of murder. When all is said and done, you have two parents behind bars waiting to go to trial. They are being quiet because they truly believe. They don't believe that one was guilty and the other, she doesn't believe he did it and he doesn't believe she did it. They both know what happened to this child. But they falsely believe that if they keep their mouth shut, they won't get convicted of murder because there's no body. Well, I hate to tell them that since 2012, there's been more than 600 no-body murder prosecutions in the U.S., and they have won 86% of the time. So you go ahead and sit there on your hands and keep your mouth shut behind bars, thinking that you're doing yourself a favor. Instead, why don't you grow up and be the parent that you were supposed to be to this child and tell everybody where she is? That's all I have for you guys this week. I'll see you next week. Today's episode is brought to you by Bones Coffee Company. You can forget about boring coffee when you drink Bones Coffee. Not only do they offer a variety of flavors such as strawberry cheesecake and maple bacon, they are a family-owned company that puts great detail not only in their coffee, but in the artwork that comes on each individual bag. Bones Coffee has a coffee club that will deliver your favorite coffee to your door every month. If that wasn't enough, they also have some amazing swag to offer. Check out Bones Coffee Company today. I'll have my affiliate links in the show notes for you.